Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we are doing another reading log for the month of March. Today I'm just going to be covering everything that I've read, or that, like, since today's the 28th, everything that I will read before the end of the month, this March of 2021. So let's just jump into it and not waste much time at all. The first thing I read was Volume 1 of Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. This was a pretty fun one. I really did enjoy it. It was a really relaxing read. I was really struggling this month because we had like a week off of school in February because, you know, Texas froze over. But then we also got like really hit with a lot of school stuff. Like the professors were like, nah, we lost a week. We had to like cram in more information because midterms are, you know, right before spring break. We have to do a lot of stuff. So I was really kind of like messed up. I just had a lot of stuff going on, and this was a really nice read to relax me and kind of take it easy for like a couple minutes while I read it. So really do appreciate it. It was really fun. I really did enjoy it. Now Komi Can't Communicate Volume 11. Really fun as well. I really did enjoy it. It was really nice. I think my favorite part here was the interaction between Komi's younger brother and Tadano's little sister. I did really enjoy that because it's kind of like the opposite, but also very similar to how Komi and Tadano act to each other. So I really did enjoy it, and it's kind of like a fun way to mix it up while still having the same kind of ideas, you know, like permeated throughout the manga. So I really did enjoy that. It was really fun. They had Golden Week during this one, which is fun. They did a camping trip that I really enjoyed, as you guys can see on the cover. And, you know, overall, really fun stuff. Really did enjoy it. It was really good. Next, I read Fire Force Volume 1. Now, this is a really cool one. This is written by the same guy that did Soul Eater, and I did really love Soul Eater growing up, at least the anime. I really hated the ending, though. But this is kind of like by the same guy. There's been a huge amount of growth in this guy's art, and the way that he still tells stories is a little bit different now. This is a lot more fast-paced feeling than Soul Eater, because if I remember correctly, the first like compared manga to anime, I think the first 3 volumes of the manga kind of like don't really go that far in terms of like story. They kind of just like take 3 volumes to introduce all the characters, and then it jumps into the story. So this is quite different. This is like right into the story and the mystery behind Shinra and like his powers and stuff right off the bat. And I really did enjoy it. The only thing I can really complain about was the fact that 2 of the female characters that were introduced have very similar sounding names. And I just don't really like that, because it's like they already look kind of similar. So it was like already like hard, but like it would also be hard with their names being so similar. And I know that they like are in the same group based on what I've seen of like the anime here and there. So it was kind of annoying, but it's not really that big of a deal. Nothing to write home about. But overall, the story is really good. I think the action is really nicely done. The pacing is pretty cool as well. So definitely looking forward to reading more of this. So yeah, next I read Olympus, right? I think that's what I read. Yeah, Olympus. This one's interesting. It's kind of cool. It's like Greek inspired. It's based on this kind of idea of like immortals being bored, and what do they do to satisfy, you know, their need for not being bored. And overall, it was kind of interesting, but it was also kind of like not that great, because it felt like it was something that was trying to get you to think and kind of reflect on something that you might not have reflected on before. You know, it had a kind of philosophical air to it, but I think it didn't really land that well, because there was nothing said in it that was really all that compelling. There was nothing here that would trigger, you know, deep thoughts in your head that was trying to like, I don't know. Like the best way I can describe it is like that one person that's like kind of pretentious and just says something that they read because they felt really like they wanted to be intelligent, and it just came off as like, dude, anyone can think that. Why did you try to like make it seem like you're this deep thinker when you're really not? Which is, I realize is kind of harsh, but I don't know. I just like, it didn't really land for me. I don't dislike it. I thought it was actually fun, and it was like an interesting little read and kind of a good way to spend some time. But it wasn't anything particularly deep. But I think this is something that would probably be better as a conversation starter, or something to really enjoy the second time you read, when you finally understand the story in general and you kind of can take the time to look at the characters, right? because that's kind of like how it works. Like the first time you read a story, you're focused on like the general idea, right? And then the second time and anytime afterwards, you start focusing on specific things. And from there, you can really get the deep appreciation for the thing, right? So I think my appreciation for this will grow as time passes and I give it 1 or 2 more reads. But initially, it just felt a little bit flat to me. I still gave it a 3 out of 5. Don't get me wrong. I think this was fun. But like, it wasn't that amazing, you know? Next, I read Eden Zero Volume 9. Now, holy crap, dude. Eden Zero is still one of the best manga that I've been reading, that I've been keeping up with. I can't wait to pick up Volume 10. I was supposed to get it earlier this month, but I couldn't find it at the store, so I'm just going to have to wait. I think it's just kind of like shipping delays have happened and stuff like that, so they just didn't have it. But I'm really hoping to get it soon. But yeah, Volume 9, it kind of is finally getting into the meat and potatoes of the Belial Gore arc. And we get introduced to the Element 4, which is kind of like a recurring thing that Mashima has across his different stories. In the earlier, in Fairy Tail, I think the Element 4 were the people from Phantom Lord, which was Gajeel, Juvia, and those 2 other guys. I think there was a fire guy and a lightning person. I can't remember. But yeah, we get introduced to them and they have some really cool powers. My favorite one is this guy. He has like this water power based on tears. And he just like looks really cool. And I saw a post recently on Twitter about how people are like putting him on as like a gay icon or something. And I thought it was really funny, but just because it fits, but it's also kind of like funny and just in general. And it was kind of like a post about how people would like flip when they saw him in the anime, which by the way is going to come out soon, and I'm super excited about. So yeah, I thought it was fun. I really do like this. We got some really cool stuff happening here with my girl Witch. Oh my god, I love Witch so much. She's so awesome. I just like her character a lot. And yeah, next I read Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And I really did enjoy this. I've already consumed almost all of this in the anime, so there was nothing really new here, but I really did enjoy it. It was a really relaxing read. Again, it was kind of like one of those things that I read when I was having tests and I was having like a lot of stress put on me, and it was just kind of really helpful to de-stress and relax. And it was a really fun kind of story about found family and developing bonds with these people that maybe you have nothing in common with, but you can still find common ground with, right? And I thought it was really nice. And I really do enjoy all of the lore that goes into each of these characters. Lokua is my favorite, although I really don't love the kind of weird Shota stuff that she does with, you know, our little guy Shota, you know. But overall, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is a fun, enjoyable story, and I really do want to collect more of it. Actually, I think I bought all of the books that he has available in English so far besides Dragon Maid. So that's pretty cool. I'm really excited to get into those as well. Next, I read Solo Leveling. And this actually took me quite a bit longer than I thought it would. But it actually was really easy to read. I just took a long time because I took a break midway to read other stuff. And yeah, Solo Leveling is a really cool one. I think most of the popularity from Solo Leveling comes from the manhwa. And the art that it has. But don't get me wrong, the story is actually really good. This is kind of like the introduction. So most of what we see here is him spelunking and going to different places and leveling up and developing his skills so that later when the story actually starts progressing, we can see him be a badass, right? And I really do like this kind of zero to hero story. And I don't really feel that he's all that overpowered. Like, well, don't get me wrong, he is really overpowered. But it's a cool idea because we see him go through all of the training necessary to be overpowered. Sure, it's a little bit easier than it would be for anyone else. Actually, quite a lot easier because he's like the only one that can. But like, it's not completely just like, here's a cheat skill, do it, right? Like, it is a cheat skill, but it's like a cheat skill that requires him to work hard in order to achieve that cheating, right? So I actually really like it. I thought it was really good. I can't wait for volume 2. Hopefully, that gets a lot better. There's a lot more action, and we can see a lot more characters that are like meaningful, because a lot of the characters here, besides Jinwoo, are just really not that important. But yeah, next, I read Juni Taisen, which is pretty cool. I don't know, like, I like this, and I think Nishio Isen is a very complex writer, and he's very interesting, and I like that he has a lot of versatility, because this feels nothing like a story from Monogatari. Like, this feels nothing like Monogatari at all. But I felt like it moved a little too fast, and I didn't like that there was really no main character. It was kind of like, my review came out a few days ago based on when this is going to come out, but I recorded it like over 2 weeks ago, so I think my thoughts have changed a little bit. But like, currently, I think that I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, because there's no central character, because there's no person that you're following individually. It kind of like didn't, like, I didn't connect with the story that much. But each of the characters was interesting on their own, and it was cool to follow them through a battle each and kind of see how everything happened. It felt very Hunger Games, and I quite like that. But, like, I don't know, I would have liked it more if it was, like, following a specific character. However, honestly, I don't know, like, I did enjoy it. But maybe the manga might be better for this. Like, just because it's a lot more cool to see violence than it is to read it, if that makes sense. And this is a very violent, gory story. So it kind of falls in the same idea as Solo Leveling, where it's like the manhwa or the manga, the, you know, drawing illustrations might make it more interesting than the actual reading that it's based on, right? So I don't know. I'm not really sure. I have to read the manga and see, and then decide, and I'll make a video about that later on. But like, for now, it was good, but it wasn't like amazing. And although I did enjoy the different perspectives that each character provided, I didn't really like that there was no central character, because it kind of felt like you personally didn't have any stakes in the story. So there you go. And the last thing I read physically was Cutie Honey A Go-Go. Now, I just did the review for this as well. And I don't know, I liked it. I thought it was fun. It was enjoyable. I really did enjoy the main character and the secondary character, Aki Natsuko, I think that's her name. Because she's just so badass. And I really did enjoy it. I like the kind of Yuri undertones that this has. And the kind of like sexual tension that is like pervasive throughout the whole thing. I think that's the right word. And I don't know, it was really fun. It's by no means an amazing story, but it's a pretty cool kind of like female-led tokusatsu Power Ranger-esque story, or maybe more akin to like modern superheroes. So kind of TNA book. So there's a lot of boobies, there's a lot of butts. You know, there's going to be a lot of stuff like that. So if you're not really interested in that, maybe don't read this. But overall, I did think this is a fun, enjoyable thing to read. Now, I read a bunch of manga digitally over the spring break and into, you know, the last few days of March. So I read volumes 11 through 28, I guess, of Black Clover. And man, dude, I caught up to it and I love it so much. Black Clover is awesome. I don't understand where the hate comes from. I think people just like look at it and see that the anime isn't great, and then automatically assume that the animation quality is the same as the story quality, and that like loosens like that makes it bad in their mind. But it makes no sense. Like, just because something isn't animated the best doesn't mean that the story is bad. Now, I understand where you're coming from, because as a person that doesn't really enjoy reading things with art that he doesn't like, I totally understand what is going on. But I don't like say that the story is bad based on the art. I just say I don't like the art and move on, right? Like, I don't really understand the way manga and anime discourse happens with a lot of people, because it like it's not like well done, if that makes sense. But you know, Black Clover to me is the epitome of taking everything Naruto was and developing it further. Now, a lot of people say that Naruto really is inspired or then is like the predecessor to My Hero Academia and Black Clover. And I definitely understand that, and I see it for both, because that's the other thing that I read this month. I read volumes 1 through 29 of My Hero Academia on the Shonen Jump app. But to me, Black Clover just does it better. Like, it encompasses all of Naruto and changes it much better than My Hero Academia was. And My Hero Academia does. And I think it's because the focus of what's it called? Of Black Clover is much more in line with the focus of Naruto than My Hero Academia is, right? And I think they both do really well. I think personally my favorite out of the two so far is Black Clover, though it's kind of tough because I have a very special place in my heart for My Hero Academia, since one, it's superheroes, and two, it's the anime and manga that really got me back into anime and manga when I was in college. Like, sure, there was like Seven Deadly Sins and How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, but the one that really like caught my interest and really like sparked my love for manga and anime again was My Hero Academia Season 1, right? So it's kind of like tough because on one hand, it's like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for My Hero Academia, but like Black Clover is just like more interesting to me, right? And I think it's because Black Clover to me feels like Naruto and Fairy Tail put into one, and I love both of those so much more than I love superheroes. So it's kind of interesting, right? My Hero Academia is kind of like the Japanese X-Men / Marvel movies, right? But I don't know, it's cool. I probably want to make a video separately that talks about My Hero Academia versus Black Clover in my mind, but I don't really like care that much to like bring heat onto myself over like dumb anime opinions. So I don't know, I might do it, I might not. But Black Clover is so good. I really do enjoy it. I love Asta so much, and Noel, and like the relationship he has with so many characters is so awesome. And I really love all of the little callbacks and kind of like inspired moments that Yuki Tabata has, where it's like, damn dude, this is like Masashi Kishimoto reborn. Like there's that one scene where Langris is gonna kill Finral, and then like Asta, Luck, and Magna show up like immediately, right? And they're like doing that pose where they're about to like end Langris if he moves a muscle. That reminded me of that one scene in the tuning exams, right? Where it's like Kakashi, Guy, and that other Jonin like holding back Gaara, I think it was, against Rock Lee. And it was like that super impactful moment where like you see how much more powerful Jonin are compared to Genin, or right, yeah, Genin. That was recreated in like a way that shows you how much more like love the Black Bulls have for each other than two family members have, right? Finral and Langris. So to me, that was like amazing. I love that. And then I really like Noct, whatever his name is, like the Black Bulls vice captain, because he reminds me of Sai from Naruto. And I think that's so cool. I just really enjoy it. Black Clover is just awesome, right? And My Hero Academia, man, My Hero Academia is really good as well. But it doesn't hit me as hard. I think it's because the characters that get development are not necessarily the ones that are directly around Midoriya, right? Like, yeah, Todoroki and Bakugo and what's his name? Ida get a lot of development, but like not to the same way. Like, I don't know, like Midoriya feels like he's in his own world and everyone around him like is as well. And it's kind of interesting. I don't know. They don't feel as connected in my mind as the Black Bulls from Black Clover. And to me, that kind of like hurts because I think the found family aspect is the one that I really love in manga. And the fact that My Hero Academia doesn't really have that exactly, or in a way that's like really easy to catch, kind of like makes me not love it as much. But like, My Hero Academia is great. Like, don't get me wrong. The Horikoshi has amazing art. I love it. I really like all the female characters, although they really don't get the spotlight as much as the male characters. I hate Endeavor with a passion, and Bakugo as well. But the character development that both of them have is awesome. Like, Endeavor realizing his issues and just being like, okay, I'm a shitty person, but I want to try and develop as an individual so I can do my job as a hero better, and so I can be a good father and like make up for all of the problems that I had as a younger man, is so amazing. It's so good. And Bakugo just like mellowing out a little bit and kind of like realizing and kind of like caring for his classmates slowly is really good as well. My favorite fight in My Hero Academia was Midoriya versus Gentle Criminal. Now, I realize that that's like the lamest one out of all of the big fights, but I just love that it was two dudes from the same kind of idea and background, with the same kind of aspirations and ideologies, just duking it out and seeing who is a stronger willed person. Of course, Midoriya was going to win because he's OP as hell, right? But, like, that was like a very Naruto moment, right? It's like two ideologies that, like, are the same but in opposite directions, like developing a story together and kind of fighting it out and duking it out and seeing who has a stronger will. That was just so, like, amazing to me. And I really like La Brava. I think she's so cute. You know, when I first saw her, I was like, oh god, who's this ugly munchkin? But now that I've read the manga, I'm like, man, she's actually, like, really cute. I really like her as a character. And Gentle Criminal was just so funny. I just really enjoy his kind of, like, ridiculous, over-the-top kind of, like, vibe. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. Okay, so this is the second clip about what I've been reading, because I ended up reading a lot more stuff since the previous recording. So, since then, I have read all the way through being caught up with My Hero Academia, which, holy crap, the war arc or whatever it's called is very, very good. I really did enjoy it quite a lot. I was not prepared for it. I still think Black Clover is better for me than My Hero Academia, but My Hero Academia is a great series. I really do love it, and I can't wait to see where it goes. It's supposed to be entering its last arc, but I don't really think so. Like, I think it's going to be the last arc for this, like, saga, for, like, maybe, like, the Shigaraki saga. And then it's going to keep going, because I don't see how it can finish so quickly. Like, I mean, they're only in their first year, and I guess it doesn't really matter what year they're on, because we're seeing, like, what's it called? We're seeing the students grow way faster than what a year should really be, right? But I don't really see how My Hero Academia can really end in one more arc. I just think that, like, unless the arc is like 200 chapters long, which is entirely possible, I don't really see it finishing anytime soon. What I think is going to happen is probably going to be like a time skip of some sort after the end of this arc. Like, maybe he'll beat Shigaraki, but it won't be like a final, like, you know, One for All is truly dead kind of thing, or All for One is truly dead sort of thing. And then there's going to be a time skip, and then, you know, we're going to go back to My Hero Academia 2 or My Hero Academia Shippuden or whatever the heck it's going to be called. But I definitely think we're going to have a second series or a continuation of My Hero Academia that is, like, as an adult, like, right? Because that's how it usually goes. Like, Naruto, he was a kid, and then 3 years later, I think he was like 17 or 18 at that point during Shippuden. So it totally makes sense, because, you know, you always have to have that time skip, and I don't think we've had one with My Hero Academia yet, besides the original, like, the initial one from the first couple chapters. But yeah, My Hero Academia is really, really awesome. Super badass. It really felt like the whole kind of, like, end game moment, like the war arc was really kind of like the equivalent of the you know, Endgame movie in the MCU. It was like that sort of, like, holy crap, this is crazy. Although, honestly, actually, I guess it's more like Avengers or Age of Ultron than it is Endgame, because it's not, like, up there yet. And I really like all of the references that Horikoshi has made to a bunch of other works. Like, you know, All for One is like, All for One is basically like Darth Vader, Voldemort, and I guess Sauron, right? That's the guy from Lord of the Rings. All in one. And it's super cool. And I really love the whole thing with One for All, right? Yeah, One for All. And the way that, you know, all the previous users showed up, that was super cool. Nana Shimura is, like, waifu material. Like, she's gorgeous and she's so cool, and I just, like, love how, like, deep her whole kind of situation goes, and how, like, it really is, like, yeah, hero society is messed up, and she's proof of that because her whole family was affected by it, and it's really interesting. But yeah, that's My Hero Academia. And then I read the first 50 chapters of Chainsaw Man, which honestly, man, look, everyone was talking about it like it's the greatest thing that came out of Shonen Jump since like Dragon Ball or whatever. I don't know. Like the greatest thing ever, like the GOAT, like it's so badass, it's so cool, it's so edgy, it's so crisp, it's so clean, it's so different. And I didn't really feel any of that. I just like, okay, it's definitely edgy. And it's like cool, and Denji is a very funny character that really isn't like other shonen protagonists. Which actually isn't really true because he's obsessed with food, and he's kind of like OP for like a ridiculous circumstance, which is like 2 out of the 3 or 4 defining traits of a shonen protagonist. The only thing is that he's like obsessed with girls, which, I mean, fair. It's actually kind of interesting that a lot of shonen protagonists are really not that interested in girls, because, you know, they are teenagers, which is interesting, and it's actually quite funny, like a lot of the times. But besides that, Denji's just like any other kid, like any other shonen protagonist, not like an actual child, because like his life is way too messed up. But Chainsaw Man just really feels like someone just really wanted to make a very edgy story, and I like that, but I don't really find it to be, you know, this new glorious path for Shonen Jump to take, like everyone else seemed to think, right? Like, to me, it just feels very, like, refreshing without it being all that good. Like, I'm halfway through the story, and the only arc that has really, like, captivated me has been the one I'm currently reading with, like, Lady Rezi, I think is her name. Like, the bomb demon. Like, this arc is badass, but all the other arcs before that were just kind of boring. And I think it's because, like, the first 97 chapters, which is, like, Chainsaw Man right now, are like, the first part of the story, right? So this is basically the introduction. And we're halfway through the introduction, and Denji is only now learning his powers. So it's kind of interesting, but it's also kind of, like, boring. Like, it's like, okay, dude, you can just cut through things. That's really all you do. And I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it too critically because I thought it was going to be super hyped. And so it's like, it's somewhere in between, like, the hype and my critical, like, thoughts on it. It's somewhere in between that, right? But to me, it just feels like it was way too hyped for, like, no reason. I mean, the art's not that good. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not, like, enjoyable, because it kind of is. There's a very scratchy kind of, like, punk, like, grungy style to it, I guess, which is interesting, but it honestly looks better when it's colored than when it's not, because what's his name, Fujimoto doesn't really use shading or anything like that in his art to really, like, provide 3D elements to it very often, except when we're talking about the demons. So the art's not that good. The story is pretty basic so far. It's very simple, just like, it's not even a tournament arc. It's literally just like, okay, monster of the week, or monster of the arc, basically, which is okay. The only thing that it has going for it is that the protagonist is slightly different from the other shonen protagonists, and that the themes and feel of it are pretty edgy and kind of like significantly worse than other shonen protagonists. Like, I'm not gonna say that, like he's not any more edgy than, like, Sasuke, Naruto, or, like, I don't know, half of the shonen protagonists, because they all are, like, orphans. No one cared for them, and their whole thing is about, like, getting powerful so people recognize them. That's not very different from Denji. It's just, like, Denji tries for different things, I guess. And the fact that he, like, is interested in girls is a little bit more relatable than some of the other shonen protagonists, but it's really not that cool. I don't really see how people find it to be so amazing, right? So that's kind of my critical thoughts on that. But yeah, that's everything that I've read. And things that I started reading that I haven't finished are Jez Kaijo's Spirit, what was it called? Something Blade. Fuck, I forgot it. I forgot the name of it. But, like, the one that I started last month, I think, and that I haven't really worked on this month because I just caught up with manga way too much. Like, I went hard on manga this month. It was, like, ridiculous. I read 2 whole series. Like, I read Black Clover and all of My Hero Academia. And then I read half of Chainsaw Man. plus all the other manga that I read. I really went crazy with manga this month because of spring break. So I kind of left all the other books behind. And the other thing that I started reading that I haven't finished yet is Lord of Goblins by my man Michael Wubrick. I think that's his name, man. Let me check. Yeah, Michael Werbruck, sorry. And yeah, I started them. I'm 20% through Bright Blade, that's the name, right? I think. Yeah, I'm halfway through, or 20% through Jess Kaiju's book, and I'm about, I don't know, 10% into Lord of Goblins. I haven't really experienced much of the story yet, so I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet, but it's looking to be more or less the same as last time, which I did find enjoyable, so I'm kind of excited about that. And I'm definitely looking forward to finish reading it. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and see you guys later.